Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 8043. This is the LEGO Technic Motorized Excavator, released in 2012 at a retail price of $199.99. I did not buy this at retail price, or even sealed at all. I got this from the dump for free, so, it was 100% complete except for the stickers. I did pick up a cheap replacement sticker sheet from China. So at the beginning of this review, I'm just going to start off with a little bit of thoughts there. The company that I bought it from was called the One Piece Team. I don't know, it's a little weird. There were 5 original stickers still remaining, so those are still on the sheet, but it came on 2 sheets like this. The actual material is thicker than LEGO stickers, slightly, and it has like 2 layers. It's got a papery layer as well as the actual sticker part, and I noticed at some points during when I, tried to put them on, like, when I tried to peel them off, sometimes the 2 layers would sort of separate, and you'd have to start pulling from the other direction. And it's not super noticeable on here, but you might notice that at some points. Also, once you stick it on, you cannot very easily at all peel it off and fix the orientation. So these stickers are a lot harder to put on. But I think I did a decently effective job, and it gets the point across from a distance here, which it works for me. But yeah, it is otherwise 100% complete. And with that, let's take a closer look. So most Technic sets are mainly about the, actual functions and features, but I did want to, do a little bit of a close-up on the actual appearance of the model first. You'll notice again the stickers, some of them are a little bit kind of peeling up around the edges. That is again a result of the quality of the stickers, so, for the rest of the review, you'll notice that, but I'm not going to point it out just because I don't want to be too repetitive. The tracks are, just these standard track pieces that they've been using for a while, and, you'll notice that kind of in the middle, it's a bit bare bones. You can see some mechanisms, but for the most part, it's well covered up, I think. And, you really have to be looking for them with this whole giant section above kind of covering it. Again, you'll see the stickers on this side and the sticker here, as well as these are the kind of linear actuator pieces that they use throughout the set. I've never seen them before. I know they do appear in other Technic sets. It's just, it was a new part to me, and I found them interesting to use. And just going the rest of the way around, you'll notice that there is this one section in the back which is actually brick built. It's got these. It's based off plates. It's tiles. It's all covered up, and I found that interesting. This is the only real section that uses a significant amount of that. I think there might be a little bit of just standard pieces in the cab, and you also have this one tile right here. But for the most part, that is what it is. Up on top, we do have the, I forget what it's called, but it switches between the gears. It's very difficult to do by hand, but you'll see why that is in a second. But you've got one mode that controls the tracks, and one mode that controls the arm. And, that's a useful sticker to have there. Oh, we do also have this one other section of just regular system bricks, being the little exhaust smokestack thing. While we're here, this is the on-off switch. The center position is off. Both side positions are on. So, I'm going to leave it in the on position, and we'll see what happens in a second. But the arm, or the cab first, we do have these 2 little levers that can be separately positioned. They do nothing physically, and I like how we get the shaping in with these flexible pieces here. Also, again, another small amount of system building with that light up above the cab. And in here, we do also have these other 2 things, which could be seen as levers as well. They're attached to the chair via a stud into a Technic hole connection. They're a little bit harder to move, but it can be done. And the actual chair, it would fit a minifigure, just it's not designed for one. For example, we will take, here he is. I knew he was there. We'll take my sig fig and we will put him inside real quick. You can see that it scales about correctly with the figure, but you can't attach one in there. I'm very loose and I will fall out, if I'm touched, really. And it is, at the same time, slightly oversized because these levers are a little bit big for a single minifigure. And the arm has a couple points of articulation that are done with these linear actuators again. And you do have that giant bucket piece, which, can fit a bunch of stuff in there. As you'll see later, though, it is hard to actually get pieces to scoop inside because they just want to be pushed forward. But that is pretty much all we've got for the aesthetics of the model here. Let's take a look at the functions and features. So having 1,123 pieces and retailing for $199.99 doesn't seem to be the greatest value right off the bat, but then you have to consider that this is a remote-controlled set. It's got the 2 controllers. They both have the IR receivers right there, as you can see, here and there. There's 2 of them. And, the battery box and all that. Those are relatively expensive components. I believe the total for the electronics is... I didn't do the math. There's 4 motors. I think those are each like $15. I could be wrong. So I think yeah, it has to be like $80 for the electronics to buy them separately as just power functions items. I didn't do the math. I will try and verify that, while I'm editing the video. But basically, my point is that those go a long way to justify the price here. Also, they're done up on channels 1 and 4 for the IR, because they each have 4 different channels. So, you could hypothetically use 4 of these connected to control one thing. But the actual way it works is once you've turned it on, which I currently have it in the on position, I believe. Yes, it's on. Then you can switch gears with this right here, and you'll notice that that red lever moves back and forth. This, pushing it down, gets you into drive mode, where you can use these 2 to control each side individually, as well as this one here to rotate it around. Am I going to hit that? Yeah, I am. Okay. And we can spin it 360 degrees. And you can, have these, you can move one up, one down, you'll turn it the other way around, turn it the other way. And, just turn it this way for the demonstration of pushing it up. Now, once that is up, this moves the arm up and down, this first one here. This one moves the second segment, so the second joint of the arm. And this, if you look closely at the bucket, this tilts it up and down. The one thing, when you're controlling the arm, you can reach limits here. And if you try and go too far past the limit, it'll shake a little weirdly, and then it skips when you start to go back the other direction. And the same thing happens when you reach the other end of these linear actuators. I don't know if that's a good thing, and I would recommend probably trying to stay away from that, because I feel like over time that could cause damage to some of the gears and stuff if it's going to be skipping over and over again. But I don't think it's too big a deal, in the short term. It just does cause a little bit of stress on the elements, I would imagine. But yeah, that is the amount of features that we've got here. I think that, it's a pretty... I think we're backwards at the moment, actually. But I do think that it is a pretty cool amount of features to get into a remote-controlled vehicle. You can basically do you basically have all the features of, like, a working excavator. And I could see you using this to, dig some stuff up and move them around and all that. Only thing is, well, in practice, that's a lot more difficult than, it would imagine. For example, if we take a couple of random bricks here and just try and scoop some up, which we'll do right here. We want to move it down to the ground. If you want to miss me failing over and over again, feel free to just skip forward. But if we try and pick these up, now we're like flush on the ground. There we go. And then what we want to do is back this up a little. Okay. And then we want to move this inwards. Okay. I want to go outwards. Okay, then we want to move inwards. Oops. Look at that, we scooped up some bricks. So as you can see, it's a lot more difficult than it should be in order to actually scoop things up. And you'll notice even then, this just got the underside caught on these little spokes. So, you know, it doesn't work as well practically as it could. But I would imagine that if you had some larger things besides, you know, just bricks that you were using to, you know, pick up and move around, I think you could get some good value out of it. And I think even just moving the excavator around, you know, it is fun. I just do wish that the bucket had worked a little bit better with, you know, maybe scooping bricks up. And I imagine if you had like a really large, like, tub of just studs, and you put this like way down underneath, and maybe if this was elevated above the scooping surface, maybe you'd be able to. But, you know, it just, with just random bricks on a hardwood floor, it doesn't work super well. Overall, I think this excavator is a pretty good excavator. I'm not an expert on Technic, so I don't know how many like completely RC motorized sets they've done like this in the past, but I mean, this is not bad for what it is. It has a lot of features, and the building experience on this was really, really interesting. Like, building that arm was probably the weirdest thing I've ever done. But, you know, it all came together really, really, really nicely. My favorite part was, you know, there's this section where you have like two universal joints, and they're like intertwining. There's one that is meant to feed rotation to this linear actuator, and one that goes to that one. And you can kind of see it right here. You got the two little axles that intertwine, and then I guess you'll notice that one of them spins here, and the other one, like they're both spinning here. Yeah, here we go. You got them both spinning, and they're both doing different things. I don't know. It's very complicated, and it was a very complex build, but I enjoyed it, and I found it really cool to put together. So overall, I would definitely recommend this set. The prices on the aftermarket, used sets of this go for like $250, which, you know, it's more than retail price. Brand new ones, I think, that are in like the 400s at least. That's a lot for something like this, and I do think that you could probably get a better modern Technic, modern Technic set for about that price or less. Like, between this and the Porsche, I think I would take the Porsche. Even though this does have more fun features, I don't know, the look is very Technic-y, and I don't know, just not my favorite looking Technic set, but the functions are pretty nice. And when I say not my favorite looking, it's definitely not my least favorite looking. It's good, it just could be better, and I don't think this works as a display piece. But, you know, it doesn't look ugly. So, hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.